Hey everyone, and welcome to the PvP Beginner's Guide to Bladesworn. This build is the best overall spec in the current meta. Learn it and you'll become an unstoppable Juggernaut with massive damage, healing, and crowd control. In this video, we're going to look at the playstyle and build variations before diving into damage combos and defensive rotations so that you can carry your teams to victory. Bladesworn is primarily a team fighter, but it has a strong 1v1 and chase potential as well. This build has immense amounts of damage and survivability, and the Dragon Slashes ignore a wide array of defensive mechanics. When played properly, you'll be able to keep your teams alive while decimating the enemy. There are three main aspects you'll need to know in order to play this spec well. First, you don't have a weapon swap. Instead, you gain access to the gun saber, which has mobility, damage, and projectile denial. Keep in mind that using a dragon trigger will automatically swap you to the gun saber after the attack. Second, most Bladesworn builds rely on high amounts of healing to survive. You don't have much active mitigation like a channeled block or invulnerability, so try not to stand in area of effect skills on nodes so you don't take unnecessary damage. Third, this spec is easy to play for how well it performs. Mechanically, Bladesworn is actually quite simple and straightforward. Newer players can find success with it. You can drop On My Mark for Frenzy or Endure Pain if you want an additional stun break. Offhand Shield is also an option if you want the stun and block. However, I prefer Warhorn the most for the utility it provides. Now let's dive into some basic buff and damage combos for Bladesworn. To increase your damage, you can use any combination of Warhorn 4 for quickness, for Great Justice for fury and might, and On My Mark to put vulnerability and reveal on your target. You can also use your heal Combat Stimulant in combination with the Restorative Strength adept trait to give yourself additional might. Keep in mind that you get 2 charges of Combat Stimulant, and casting it a second time will give you additional boons. Next, dealing explosion damage will increase your critical damage by 16% for 10 seconds from the Guns and Glory Grandmaster minor trait. All 3 Dragon Slashes, the third part of your Gun Saber basic attack chain, and Gun Saber 2, 3, and 5 all count as explosions. Cycle through these every few seconds to keep the damage buff on yourself. For your mid-range combo, Cyclone Trigger into all 3 charges of Artillery Slash. You can also follow that up with an Axe 3 and or Dragon Slash Reach. For your main melee combo, Dragon Slash Force or Boost into Blooming Fire and or Axe 2 and or Axe 3. Also, it is extremely important to remember that quickly tapping any of the Dragon Slashes will put the attack on a 4-second cooldown. This is especially useful when using Boost, as you get a low cooldown leap that will stun anyone in your path as you reposition. Bladesworn relies mostly on movement and high amounts of healing to survive. Aside from your dodges, you don't have many reliable ways to negate significant amounts of incoming damage. You can gain barrier through Warhorn 5, Aegis from Dragon Trigger 4, projectile denial from Cyclone Trigger, and 1 stack of stability for 3 seconds from Dragon Triggers in combination with the Dragon Scale Defense Master minor trait every 10 seconds. But you should be looking to utilize terrain and spacing from your mobility to avoid as much damage as possible. When you do get hit, you should look to resustain through shouts and your heal. For the final tip, remember that tactical reload has a cast time. If you're pressured and need to reset your cooldowns with your elite, it may get interrupted, so try to create some distance from you and your attackers, go behind line of sight, or have stability before casting it to make it more difficult for enemies to CC. And that's it for this video. I hope you learned something from the Beginner's Guide to Bladesworn. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you want to see more from my channel, click the links here, and I'll see you in the next one.